Hey everybody, how we doing? Hey, listen, I just wanted to hop on here and just share something that was on my heart. I posted a video yesterday of a guy saying how important it is to ask for help when you're going through something, and he was referencing addiction, but he was also referencing like being at the gym. It wasn't trying to transform his body, and I just started thinking about all the things in the things in my life where I've had to ask for help, and there's been a lot, but it really kind of started when I was doing a lot of drugs, when I was younger, and I remember, I was so caught up in meth and coke and LSD and all the things, and I remember sitting at the edge of my bed, and I'm looking at this skinny body and this meth face, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore, and keep in mind, I didn't know the Lord yet, and although I know He was working in my life back then, I just didn't know Him. But I remember just saying like, I need help, and I just started asking around other people that I knew that didn't do drugs, and I started kind of separating myself from the people that did do drugs, which is super important. You got to do that in sobriety. Um, but I remember just asking for help, and over some time, I was able to beat that addiction, the meth and the coke. I was able to beat it. Um, but the marijuana and the drinking still stuck, and but those really weren't a big part of my life quite yet. And so then I started dealing with a lot of stress, anxiety, panic attacks. And I remember the first panic attack I ever had. I was in Vegas for a wedding, and we immediately drove back, and I went to the hospital, and they said you're having a panic attack, and they gave me Ativan. And so I went to see my doctor the next day, and I said, hey, I need help. I don't know what's going on. And unfortunately, he gave me Xanax, and I was addicted to Xanax for 20 years because I had an addictive personality. And unfortunately, I was stuck for 20 years on that stuff. And then I was on antidepressants for 5 years. I was on five antidepressants for a while, but after, and that's a whole other story. But the point is, I was asking for help. And so I was doing a lot of research about, how I can, not do, Xanax and these drugs and what I can do. And I was reading about diet and exercise. And so I go to GNC, and I talking to the guy, and the guy happened to be, he just got back from the Iraq war, and he was in military, and he just was sharing with me, like all the things that he needed to do to relieve stress and anxiety. But it was by me asking him. It was like asking this total stranger, like, "Hey, I need help," Um, so then, my drinking. A lot of you know my story. I was a daily drinker for 30 years, and on January 1st, 2019, I got on my knees, and I still didn't know the Lord yet, and I just said, Lord, if you're real, take this addiction away from me. But I was crying out for help. I was asking for help, and that's really started where everything started to change in my life, and not only did God help me through that, but He started putting people around me. He started building a team around me, a community around me. And with those people, I started asking them, as I went through my sobriety, I was asking for help. How can I, how can I stay sober? How can I beat these triggers? How can I, how can I, I was just full of questions, Uh, so then, the interesting part about this whole thing is um, the one thing that I struggled with the longest, that I never asked for help with, was my pornography, which, I was stuck in that addiction for like 35 years. And I remember, like our pastor would talk about it and talk about his struggles with it. And I remember just feeling so much shame. And I'm like, I can't ask for help on this. I just can't do it. This is too embarrassing. This is too shameful. But I got stuck. I got stuck in that addiction, And I remember, and I don't remember how long ago it was. It was about 3 years ago. I remember where I was. I was at Salt Creek. It was a nice summer, sunny day. And I remember the person I talked to, and I'm just sitting there, and I was like, man, I'm so tired of being stuck in this addiction. But I can't ask for help. And the Lord just said, go up to that guy right there, ask for help. So I did, so I went up to him and I said, hey, this is what I'm going through, and he just said, hey man, let me pray for you. And he prayed for me, and lo and behold, about a month later, I was free from that addiction, you know, and but the point is, I asked for help. That one thing that I was stuck in for so long was because I didn't ask for help, so it's just so important to ask for help, but it's also important to share your testimony, by I remember I couldn't even say the P word, the pornography word, for so long, and now it kind of just falls off my tongue, just like a normal word, because I'm just so free from it. Um, and it's so cool, like, I've had, ever since I'm sharing my testimony, I've had people come up to me, that I don't even know. I don't know these people, and they're like, hey, I heard about your testimony, or I saw your testimony, and I'm just letting you know that I struggle with this, or I struggle with that, and it happened to me not too long ago. Total stranger came up to me and was just, kind of right in my face, and I'm like, can I help you? And he's just like, yeah, I'm looking for you. And I'm like, yeah, what's going on? And he's like, hey, I'm struggling. I'm struggling with, some stuff, and right there, that was God, man. That was God, like, putting that guy in with me, and I just said, hey, and no judgment. I just said, hey, let me pray for you, man. And so I ended up praying for this person, and I've actually ran in to this person a few more times, and we exchanged numbers, and we encourage each other, we inspire each other, and got a new friend now that we're helping out, So this is all just stemming from just asking for help. So please just ask for help, man. Don't ever be ashamed. Don't ever, and then also when you're, another thing I want to say really quick too is when you, because I Googled it this morning. I Googled like the top 5 things to do when trying to get sober. And the first thing is acknowledging you have a problem. It's true. You got to acknowledge you have a problem. But from my experience, what happened, what I was doing is I found myself comparing myself to other people. Well, I'm not as bad as so and so. Well, I'm not, I hold my job, or I have a good marriage, or I have this. And so I was comparing myself, and I was getting stuck in that bondage because I would made myself feel like I wasn't as bad as somebody else, And two other words that came to my mind this morning was functioning alcoholic. I used to always call my dad a functioning alcoholic. He was a alcoholic for, gosh, his entire life, and he's always saying, I'm a functioning alcoholic. And I labeled myself with that too as well. And I was really thinking about it this morning. I'm like, what is a functioning alcoholic? To me, it was like, yeah, I'm showing up to work, and I'm just functioning, but like, how well are you functioning? Like, are you living life the best you can possibly be? Are you doing the best at work? Are you doing the best in your marriage? Are you doing the best as being a parent, as being a friend, as being just, so, so anyways, I'm sorry to get off track here, but the Holy Spirit just kind of puts things in my head while I'm talking. So, but anyways, ask for help. I don't care what it is. If you're lonely, if you're depressed, if you've lost a loved one and you need help and you need encouragement, you need to go to the gym, you need diet, whatever it is, ask for help. There's so many people out there. There's a community of people out there that are willing to help you, who will not judge you, who will not condemn you. And so that's it. Anyways, you guys be good. And I hope this inspires somebody. And everything I share, I never try to give opinions. I always try to share my testimony and my story. If you ask me for my opinion, I may give it to you, but this is all my story. And so do with it what you will. So anyways, God bless you guys all, and you have a beautiful day. Be blessed.